Hello, and welcome to Meet the Mushrooms. Mushrooms are fascinating. There's a whole world of them. In fact, they even have their own kingdom. I'm sure that you've heard of the kingdoms, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, and the mineral kingdom. So there's also a fungi kingdom. And mushrooms are part of the fungi kingdom. And we'll find out a little bit more about the things that they do. The world of mushrooms, the world of fungi. They grow everywhere. They grow even on our bodies. If you ever had athlete's foot or something like that, one of those other kind of fungus rashes, they grow on your body. That is fungus. That is a separate living organism that is feeding on your body. They grow on trees, they grow underground, they grow on rotting fruit. They are food. They can be delicious food, and many of them are delicious. They are medicine. If you've heard of penicillin or even some other kind of medicine, they are from fungi. They can transform a tree into soil in hundreds of years or many years, let's just say that, depending on the kind of tree and how long it can take a long time. But they can also transform an orange into a mess on the counter in just a few short days. So they have many attributes, and they have many forms. They grow everywhere. They're food for animals, they're food for us, they're medicine. So let's find out what we can about mushrooms. Mushroom is only part of the fungus, and the rest is made up of white threads called hyphaea, and they grow down into a log like roots. And then that breaks down the wood so the fungus can soak up the nutrients. That's one of the ways that they eat. Mushrooms are the most familiar members of the fungi, and a single mushroom can produce about 2 million spores. Mushrooms have been eaten since ancient times, and they're everywhere, in fields, in forests, in soils, in buildings, and also in biotech corporations. They are a source of food and fascination to people around the world, but they're also a mystery. They live a hidden life, and they are the hidden kingdom, and they're beautiful, fascinating. And I hope that you enjoyed this little dip into mycology. Most mushrooms grow and decay rather quickly, but the organism remains and will often continue to produce more mushrooms for years, decades, and even centuries. Picking a mushroom is not the equivalent of uprooting an apple tree, but rather the equivalent of picking the apple off the tree. The mushroom is not the organism, the hidden mycelium is. Mushrooms produced by spores, and they evolve to produce spores in incredible quantities. Millions of spores are released when they release them. An umbrella-shaped gilled mushroom is what most people will think of as a mushroom, but many different forms have evolved that look quite different. Mushrooms can look like a ball. Mushroom can look like marine coral, cups or saucers, shelf-like growths on trees, on logs or stumps. They can look like sponges. They can look like a cluster of icicles and tiny birds' nests, complete with eggs. Mushrooms can even look like cauliflower, and their designs help to ensure the successful reproduction. Many mushrooms also have evolved various structural accessories. In some species, a universal veil encloses the entire mushroom at first, and it helps by absorbing and trapping the moisture. and as does a partial veil. No other organism can do this at all with any efficiency. So far as we know them, simply could not exist without mushrooms and other fungi to break down dead wood and return the nutrients to the soil. Many species of fungi have a symbiotic relationship with trees and other green plants. At least 90% of all land plants, including all trees, have mycorrhizal fungi. The plant feeds the fungus that some of the carbohydrates that it makes through photosynthesis, and the fungus dramatically increases the tree roots absorption of water, such as in certain essential minerals such as phosphorus and magnesium, which the plants have poor access to without their partner help. Sometimes it seems like mushrooms grow overnight, and that it's true that they weren't there yesterday, but they don't grow as fast as they seem to. When you find mushrooms that weren't there the day before, they actually were there. And you can see sometimes if you're walking through the woods, you can see like the leaves and the pine needles will kind of be pushed up, and it takes a few days for the mushroom to pop itself through. Mushrooms is to make spore prints. And the way that you would do this is to cut the stalk off a mushroom that you have found and have vaguely identified that it's safe. It will usually deposit millions of spores, and you can see their color and mass. White paper can be used, but the clear, stiff plastic is better for viewing pale spore prints. Mushrooms can be tentatively identified by picture matching. Fungi are not plants. Living things are organized for study into large basic groups called kingdoms. Fungi were listed in the plant kingdom for many, many years. Then scientists learned that fungi showed a closer relationship to animals, but are unique and separate life forms. Now fungi are placed in their own kingdom. It is a hidden kingdom. The part of the fungus that we see is only the fruit of the organism, and the living body of the fungus is a mycelium made out of a web of tiny filaments called hyphaea. Hyphaea can add over half a mile of total length to the mycelium each day, and these webs live unseen until they develop mushrooms, puffballs, truffles, brackets, cups, bird's nest corals, or other fruiting bodies. Fungi have been on the earth for at least 350 million years, and perhaps much, much longer. They've historically been considered plants, but now fungi are known to share traits with both plants and animals, but to actually be their own lineage. Incredibly important to the environment for their ability to decompose organic matter and release carbon and other elements, fungi are everywhere in large numbers, including in the soil, in the air, in water bodies, and in the bodies of plants, animals, and humans. Fungi are fundamental to the methods used to synthesize important products that we rely on for our everyday lives. And these can be medicines such as statins or antibiotics, and biofuels. Some have diverse uses. For example, species of penicillin are used to produce antibiotics in cheese. There are natural uses of fungi where you exploit natural products such as protein or antibiotics. Recently, in the past few years, we've been able to harness the natural abilities of fungi to produce materials that mimic leather, that are like leather. Scientists have been looking at mushrooms and being able to use them to produce meat substitutes. There's a company that is using mushrooms to make a type of what they're calling bacon. As we said earlier, fungi are more than just mushrooms on your plate. Fungi are also essential in making bread, certain types of cheese, wine, beer, and other alcoholic beverages, soy sauce, and even adding flavor to your favorite soda pop. Mushrooms themselves also contain essential minerals and vitamins. As well, some fungi are also used to make antibiotics, such as penicillin, that has saved many lives. We've already talked about how mushrooms are useful as food and medicine, but now research is being done using fungi in something called bioremediation. What this means is that fungi are being used to absorb and digest dangerous substances like oil, pesticides, and industrial waste in places where they threaten the environment. Other research is being done to see how fungi can help control insects that destroy food crops. Fungi are so much more than just mushrooms. They are a fascinating and charismatic kingdom that is woven into every part of our environment. As humans, we depend on them day in and day out for our very existence. So, take a look at fungi and discover the fungus among us.